I didn't call him pathetic because I believed it. I called him pathetic because I was panicking and I needed him to react. We were standing in our hallway at 1:12 a.m. Me in yesterday's makeup and a cardigan I'd thrown on like it could cover shame, him holding his keys and a quiet duffel bag like he'd already decided what kind of man he would be in this moment. He had just said calmly, "I'm leaving."
No yelling. No striking. No slam doors.
Just that sentence. And something in me snapped. Not into remorse, but into rage. Because his calm meant I couldn't manipulate the scene. Calm meant I couldn't steer the story into we both made mistakes, or he's being harsh, or it was complicated. So, I took the ugliest weapon I had, contempt. "You're seriously not even going to fight for me?" I hissed, voice shaking. "After everything?" He blinked once, slow. "Fight for what?" I swallowed hard.
For us.
For me. His face didn't harden. It softened, like he was looking at a version of me he didn't recognize anymore. I felt that softness and hated it because softness from him used to mean I could still get away with things. So I pushed harder. "You're pathetic," I said. "You're weak." Any real man would be angry. And my boyfriend, Ethan, just stared at me for a long second, then said something so quiet it felt like a door closing inside my chest. "I'm not angry. I'm clear." Then he stepped around me, walked out, and disappeared from my life with a level of finality that has haunted me every hour since. Ethan and I were together for 3 years. Not casual, not a fling. 3 years of routines, meal prep Sundays, laughing at dumb shows, shared friends, his mom texting me holiday recipes like I was already family. We lived together in his condo. His place, his mortgage, his name on everything. I paid utilities and groceries. I told myself I was contributing. I also told myself it meant I had security. Ethan was the safe kind of love. Consistent. Reliable. He didn't play games. He didn't disappear. He didn't make me compete. He gave me the kind of stability people claim they want until they get it and start craving chaos. I didn't cheat because Ethan was bad to me. I cheated because I got addicted to feeling wanted by someone who didn't know me well enough to be disappointed. That someone was my coworker, Bryce. Bryce was in sales. Confident, charming in that polished, practiced way. He was great at compliments that didn't feel like compliments. They felt like evaluations. "You're different," he'd say. "You have this energy. I can tell you're not fully appreciated." He was always saying things designed to make me feel like I was being overlooked. And I was stupid enough to believe it. It started at work the way these things always start. 2 people in the same pressure cooker, joking too much, texting outside business hours about a project. Then it turned into lunches. Then it turned into me staying late because Bryce needed help with the deck. Ethan never accused me. He'd ask normal questions. "Late night again? Want me to save you dinner? Everything okay?" And I'd answer too fast, too cheerful, too practiced.
Yeah.
Just work. The first time Bryce kissed me, it was in the parking garage after a late night. Not romantic. Not sweet.
Quick. Hungry.
Like he was claiming a prize. I remember pulling back and saying, "I can't." Bryce smiled like he'd heard that line before. "You already did." And instead of running, I let that sentence become permission. For 2 months, I lived 2 versions of myself. At home, Ethan's girlfriend.
Warm.
Normal. Laughing. Predictable. I cooked dinners and wore his hoodies and let him rub my shoulders when I complained about work. At work, Bryce's secret. The dangerous version. The woman who could still make a man obsess. Bryce would text me in the middle of meetings, "I'm thinking about you." I'd look down, smile, and feel that hit of dopamine like a drug. Then I'd go home and kiss Ethan like nothing happened. I told myself it wasn't real because Bryce didn't know me the way Ethan did. Bryce didn't see me sick. He didn't see my anxiety. He didn't see my messy mornings. He saw me as a fantasy. And instead of being insulted by that, I was flattered. That's the part I'm most ashamed of. Ethan found out in the most boring way possible. Because boring is where real life lives. I left my laptop open on the couch while I showered. A Teams notification popped up. Not even explicit. Just Bryce's name and a message preview. Last night was insane. I still can't believe you did that. Ethan didn't go digging. He didn't need to. When I walked out, towel on my head, Ethan was sitting on the edge of the coffee table with my laptop in his hands. He looked pale. Quiet. Who is Bryce? He asked. I tried the first lie. Coworker. Why? Ethan's eyes didn't leave mine. Why is he texting you like that? My heart started pounding. It's a joke. Ethan nodded once, slow. Okay. Open the thread. I froze. And that freeze was my confession. Ethan set the laptop down gently like he was handling something fragile. Are you sleeping with him? He asked. My instinct was to deny.
To cry. To spin.
But Ethan's calm had a sharp edge now. He wasn't asking for reassurance. He was asking for truth. I whispered, yes. Ethan exhaled like he'd been punched and was trying not to fall. How long? He asked. I lied smaller. A few weeks. Ethan's eyes narrowed slightly. Don't. I swallowed. 2 months. Ethan stared at the wall behind me for a long moment, then looked back like he'd made a decision. Pack a bag, he said. I blinked. What? I need space, he said, voice steady. Tonight. I instantly switched into bargaining mode.
No.
Ethan, please. It didn't mean anything. I was stressed. I was lonely. Ethan held up a hand. Stop. That one word shut me up like a slap. He looked at me with a sadness that felt older than the moment. I'm not debating your excuses, he said quietly. I'm taking care of myself. And that scared me more than anger ever could. I followed him into the bedroom while he calmly opened drawers. I started crying. I'll block him. I'll quit. I'll do therapy. I'll do anything. Ethan didn't look at me while he packed. Why now? Because I'm sorry, I whispered. Ethan nodded once. You're sorry you got caught. That line hit hard because it was true enough to hurt. I panicked and tried the oldest trick in the book. I made it about him. You're just going to leave? I snapped. So, you don't even care? Ethan zipped his bag. I cared. That's why I didn't cheat. That sentence made my face burn. I followed him to the hallway, voice rising. If you loved me, you would fight for me. Ethan turned and looked at me like he was truly seeing me. Fight for what? He asked. A relationship where you lie to my face and sleep with someone else? I cried harder. People make mistakes. Ethan's voice stayed calm. A mistake is sending a text. You built a routine. And this is where my ego tried to save itself, by turning him into the villain. You're pathetic, I said. You're not even mad. You're weak. Ethan didn't flinch. He just said, I'm not weak. I'm done. Then he walked out.
No Islam.
No dramatic speech. Just a door closing with the soft click of finality. I stood in that hallway for a long time, shaking, waiting for the part where he came back. Where he cooled off. Where he texted, we need to talk. Where I could cry and soften him and negotiate. He didn't. He blocked me within an hour. I realized because my calls stopped ringing. They went straight to voicemail. I messaged him on Instagram. Delivered, then nothing. A few minutes later.
Blocked.
Then the next punch. He changed the smart lock code. Not dramatically. Just deficiently. I wasn't locked out that night because I was already inside, but the message was clear. Access was over. I sat on the couch staring at the condo like it had betrayed me. Like it wasn't my behavior that had pushed him out. At 3:40 a.m., Bryce texted me. So, are you leaving him for me? I read it and felt something cold spread through my chest. Because the fantasy evaporated the second it demanded consequences. I replied, not now. Bryce, okay, but don't blame me. You chose this. He wasn't wrong. He was just grossly calm about it. And suddenly, I understood what I'd traded. A real man's love for a shallow man's appetite. The next morning, Ethan emailed me. Not a long message. Bullet points. That was his style, even in heartbreak. You can stay here for 7 days while you find a place. We'll coordinate pickup of your remaining items. Do not contact me beyond logistics. Do not contact my family. I stared at the email like it was written in another language. 7 days. Not let's talk. Not we'll work through it. Not even I hate you. Just structure. I replied with a long apology, anyway. I told him I was wrong. I was ashamed. I would do anything. No response. I tried calling from my work phone.
Blocked.
I drove to his mom's house like an idiot because I thought maybe if I cried in front of someone, the story would become softer. His mom opened the door, looked at me once, and said calmly, "He's okay. Can I talk to him?" I begged. She shook her head.
No.
"He's making a mistake," I whispered through tears. His mom's expression stayed neutral.
No, sweetheart.
"You did." Then she closed the door.
No screaming. No insults.
Just a boundary. I realized then that Ethan didn't just leave me. He had support leaving me. Because people had watched how I treated him longer than I wanted to admit. By day 4, my coworkers knew. Not because Ethan exposed me. Because Bryce did something predictable. He distanced himself. He started acting cold at work like I was embarrassing. Then I overheard him talking to another guy in the break room. "Man, she's crazy." Her boyfriend freaked out. I stood there frozen, realizing he was rewriting the story with me as the unstable one and him as the innocent flirt. I confronted him after work. "You're telling people I'm crazy?" Bryce shrugged. "I'm protecting myself. This is messy." "You are the mess," I snapped. Bryce smiled. That same practice charm. "You made it messy by getting caught." Then he walked away. And just like that, my escape became another humiliation. A month later, I saw Ethan at a friend's birthday. Someone we both knew. I almost didn't go, but I went because I couldn't stand the idea of being the woman who vanished after she ruined everything. Ethan walked in looking lighter. New haircut. Better posture. Calm smile. Not performative. And, beside him, was a woman. Not flashy. Not thirst trap perfect. Just pretty, grounded, confident. The kind of woman who looks like she sleeps peacefully. Ethan introduced her to people like she belonged there. He didn't look around for me. That was the part that hurt most. Because I wasn't the center of his world anymore.
Not even as the villain.
I stood near the drinks table, trying to breathe. Then Ethan's eyes met mine briefly across the room. He didn't glare. He didn't smirk. He gave me a small nod. Civil, distant. Then turned back to the woman beside him and laughed at something she said. And I understood the full meaning of he vanished. He didn't vanish from the city. He vanished from being emotionally available to my chaos. He vanished from the role I'd assigned him, the man who fights for me no matter what I do. The guy wins here in the most brutal way. He refuses the script. I wanted tears. I wanted jealousy. I wanted him to fight like I was a prize. He chose peace like it was oxygen. He left clean. Blocked clean. Communicated through logistics. Moved on without using me as a cautionary tale. And me? I learned something I didn't want to learn. If you cheat and then insult someone for not fighting, what you're really saying is, I expected you to accept disrespect to prove your love. Ethan didn't. And that is exactly why he wins. My remarks. Hey guys, thanks for watching. She cheated with a coworker, got caught, then tried to flip the blame by demanding he fight and calling him pathetic when he stayed calm. He won by refusing the script. No begging, no jealousy performance. Just boundaries, a clean exit, and moving on. Calm self-respect beats chaos every time. Subscribe. More tomorrow.